Guys, thanks for tuning into SimTech channel. This is tutorial 6 on our series of learning C programming by coding. Now in this tutorial, we're going to learn how to compute the quotient of two numbers. That is the division of one number by another number. Okay? Now to compute the quotient, you understand that we need two numbers. So which means the first number is what we call a dividend. Okay? And the second number is your divisor. Now the dividend is the number being divided by the divisor, and the result is the quotient. So if I do on my calculator here, I say division. Okay? If I say 8 divided by 2, the answer is 4. 8 is a dividend, 2 is a divisor, and my quotient is 4. Okay, so that is what we're going to do in C programming. There is also what we call reminders. So let's say right now the reminder is obviously 0, but if I say 8 divided by 3, you can see I'm getting 2.66. So now in C programming, we're going to say the result is 2, and the comma 666 should be the reminder, something like that. So we're going to see how to handle all of this using C programming. So stick around. Okay, so once again, you have to start by variable declaration. If you've been watching this tutorial by now, you should be able to declare your variable. We're going to declare all of them as integers. So int, the first one is a dividend. The second one is the divisor. And then we've got the quotient that must hold the answer. Then finally, we need a reminder or the remainder. So these variables we just declare are going to be holding the values as we compute our division. Okay. Now that you've declared the variable, you know what's the next thing to do is to ask the user to enter the value that they want to compute the quotient. We're going to ask the user to enter the dividend. So we're going to make it short this time. Just say enter the dividend. Okay. We leave the /n because we want to go onto a new line. So now we know that the user is going to enter the dividend. But what do? We need to ask the user to enter the divisor. But before doing so, mind you, we need to first handle the dividend. So that's what we're going to use by our famous scanf functions. Since we are scanning an integer, so it's %d, okay? And then we reference it to what? Dividend. Just like that. Now that part is handled. So what we're going to do now is to now ask the user to enter the divisor. You guessed it. So you can go ahead and even complete this project if you've been following all the tutorial. Enter the divisor. Okay. Once again, we go on a new line and we scan it so that we can process that information that the user is going to enter, %d and divisor. Now we've got those two pieces of code that are going to handle the two numbers that the user is going to enter. So we've been doing this from all the previous tutorial. We forgot again something there. That n must never be forgotten, because if you forget it, then your value is not going to be stored into the divisor and the program is not going to execute well. Okay, so now what's the next thing to do is we now need to compute a quotient. So which means we can put a comment and say calculate the quotient. Okay, so the quotient here will be dividend, okay, divided by divisor. So the forward slash indicate the division in C programming. Now we're going to have the quotient of this number divided by this number. Now what are we going to do with the result of this quotient? Now you guessed it, we need to display the result on our screen. So we do that with the print function. We say the quotient is equal to, now you need to provide the answer, so %d, since we are using integer, we're gonna go onto the new line again, and then we pass here the value of the quotient that we just calculated here, that we're passing there onto that format specifier placeholder. Then we need to also handle the remainder. Remember what I showed earlier, that there's always a remainder. It's either it's a comma value or it's 0. Now we need to handle the remainder. Printf, and we're gonna say the remainder is equal to also %d. Now we don't have to go into a new line, we just pass the remainder there. So our code is now completed. As you can see on the first line, we're declaring variable, we're asking the user to enter. Now the user entered, then we handle it with a scan to store it on dividend. Then we ask again for the divisor, we do the same. Then we compute a calculation. After that, we then printing the quotient and the remainder. Now let's run the program and see what we get. Hopefully we did not make a mistake this time. Here it is. So I'm going to enter the quotient 50 and divided by 5, the divisor. Okay, 50 divided by 5 is 10, the remainder is 16. No, the remainder can't be 16. But wait, we are not handling the remainder. So basically the remainder is taking some random value from the memory that's just been allocated to it. That's why it's 60. So if we run this program, I'm sure the remainder will be a different value rather than 60, or will it still be 60? So let's just try again. I'm gonna say again 50. This time I'm gonna say divided by 4. I'm still getting 16 as a remainder, so which means the value of 16 is actually just a random gibberish that's been allocated into the variable because we declare it. Remember, we never initialize it. So that's the thing in C programming. When a value is declared but not initialized, it's going to have some random number stored into it. So if you don't assign a value or initialize it, that's what you get. That's why we're getting 16 assigned into a remainder, because we never initialize it. Now let's say we initialize, we say remainder is equal to 0. Now if we run this program again, we are guaranteed to get remainder as a value of 0 because we just initialize it to be equal to 0. Let's check it again. 55, then you see remainder is 0, but this is not correct. We can all too well initialize it. Now let's leave the initialization, leave it there, but we need to process the remainder here. So what we do is we say remainder is actually equal to dividend percentage divisor. So this is how you process a remainder in C programming. So you use the operator percentage with the divisor, the dividend operator percentage and the divisor, and it gives you the remainder of the two of them because it's a quotient. Now if we go ahead and run this program, we should be able to get a correct value of the remainder, and it's no longer going to be 0 because it's now going to hold the value of whatever the remainder is. Once again, we go 50 and then 5, enter. You see the remainder is 0 because 50 divided by 5 is equal to 10. There is no comma, so there is no remainder. Now if we take a different quotient, so that we can get a value of a remainder. So we say 50, let's stick with 50, and then we say 6. You see, the quotient is 8, the remainder is 2. Let's do it a calculator. So 50 divided by 6, it gives us 8,33. It gives us a remainder of 2. Let's try a different number. 25 divided by 4, and we're getting a remainder of 1. So this is how you compute a quotient and a remainder using C programming. So that will be it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to SimTech channel and give this tutorial a thumbs up. Until next time, cheers.